Since we've recapped the series, this leads me to my inevitable ASKHOLE question for this week. I guess we've illustrated and outlined everything that went wrong for the Sox. What would you rank number one as the main reason that the Sox didn't win this series? Would you rank the starting pitching failure, the reliever issues, your manager and his questionable managing the bullpen and other things? The defense is one thing we didn't talk about very much.
Well, I would
Or the
call
offense even. I mean,
well,
you had six extra base hits in the entire series.
yeah, and somehow that has us leave the playoffs as the third best OPS in all the playoffs this year, which is really bizarre. We have the third highest OPS.
All those singles just added up.
Yeah, they just
And
added
you're
up
on
eventually.
base, those walks.
And the
Wow.
12-6 game apparently just like
That was
vaulted us all the way up to number 3.
wow.
Boston and Houston are 1 and 2. So I'm
forcing you to pick one. This is admittedly, this is definitely an ASKHOLE question.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, to me, the starting pitching is the biggest failure.
Yeah, I think you were leaning on starting pitching all year long. You had such great starters, and that was the opposite of what you thought you were going to get.
And I think sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
no, it's cool.
Smitty, but like I think when that's what you had all year, and it sort of gave the offense energy, the offense itself kind of became deflated and almost knew like all of a sudden. The Sox had that luxury all year of the offense not having to put the entire game on their shoulders to win it, so they could kind of play loose, with their at bats and that. Now it felt like if we don't score 10 runs a game, we're not going to win. And that basically what it would have taken to win a couple of those other games. So
yeah, definitely game 2.
11 would have taken for game 4. So
2 and 4, yeah.
Yeah. So
wow.
So when you think about it like that, I've got to look at the starting pitching and go,
where the fuck are you?
What the fuck happened? I mean,
that's where I think we should get deeper into that stat you pulled up that I've not seen anywhere else. Kudos to you about the more 95-mile-an-hour plus pitches by a large margin than anyone else. I wonder if that adds to fatigue down the stretch or something. But
yeah, I mean, I think we got a bunch of things to consider here. I mean, and I don't know, like the Braves starting pitch. I was looking at starting pitching. The Braves, just for a comparison, because the Sox are like second to last in ERA for the playoffs, but the Braves have a 1.54 ERA as a pitching staff in the playoffs so far against the Brewers.
That you just said it, against the Brewers.
It's still impressive. It's the playoffs.
Impressive.
It's impressive, especially being the road team in the playoffs. So
I was never impressed with the Brewers offense. I was very impressed with their pitching staff
and their defense. They play solid defense too.
Picked up Colton Wong. I knew they were going to be playing some defense, but
to me, not in the playoffs, too, but as a glaring thing, one of the things, and this kind of ties back into managerial problems too, is one of the things when La Russa arrived, one of the things I immediately thought was the defense was going to get shored up. It was going to be a lot better because he's an old school dude. He's an Ozzie Guillen. They barely made an error. I mean, they had airtight defense. He pushed them through drills and all that. And I guess that just didn't happen. Never happened under Renteria. And I don't know if they just continued more of the same under La Russa and they didn't focus on, I mean, You've got, you had Anderson and Moncada, but then there's a lot of trouble in the outfield.
There's a lot of missing of cutoff men and just basic.
Yeah, right.
Basic stuff.
Yeah, like little league shit.
Well, and you also shift much less than anyone else. I hate the shift, but
but we get beat on the shift far more. I don't know where we get our fucking shift information.
Well, that might need to be addressed too. Yeah, bad information.
We got really
defensive placement is really what it's about.
There were 3 double plays that we would have had in the playoffs if we had just played straight up defense. Or at least left Timmy more towards a little bit to the other side of the bags, not quite up the middle, but almost up the middle. Just some key moments that could have ended innings for us
Yeah.
and didn't. I mean, that was the other. I mean, you want to talk about not being able to end an inning? We probably may have set a playoff record for letting up the most 2-out RBIs in the
Yeah.
history of the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
that
Well,
was insane.
that's what Houston does too. I mean, that's how they've generated offense
I mean,
all year long. But
it was frustrating. Like every time you're like, we're about to get out of this inning, then your 3 more runs came across the plate. But to me, overall in the playoffs, I'm getting long winded, but overall in the playoffs,
it's your podcast.
starting pitching was the biggest disappointment to me.
Well, thank you for answering my question. Honestly, ASKHOLE is becoming my favorite segment of the podcast, as I demand honesty out of you and you give it to me. It's fantastic. So you need to. Hopefully, my teams will make the playoffs one of these years, and you can grill me when they flame out of the playoffs.